Musculoskeletal Hazards and Risk Control, Comprehensive Guide to Element 8, Paper 2. Welcome to Phani EHS Info. In this video, we'll focus on Element 8, Musculoskeletal Hazards and Risk Control. Element 8 is all about ensuring that work practices and environments are designed to reduce the risk of musculoskeletal disorders. We'll provide an overview of this element and highlight key exam questions to help you prepare effectively for NEBOSH IGC Paper 2. Manual Handling. Let's start with manual handling. Risks associated with lifting, carrying, and moving objects can lead to significant musculoskeletal injuries. To manage these risks, it's crucial to implement safe manual handling techniques and utilize mechanical aids. For example, using forklifts or trolleys can help reduce the physical strain on workers and prevent injuries. Workstation Design. Next, we discuss workstation design. Applying ergonomic principles is key to designing workstations that minimize strain on employees. This involves adjusting furniture, tools, and equipment to suit individual needs and ensure that workstations are comfortable and supportive. Properly designed workstations can significantly reduce the risk of musculoskeletal disorders. Training and education. Finally, let's cover training and education. Providing training on safe manual handling and ergonomic practices is essential. Educating employees about musculoskeletal risks and prevention strategies helps to raise awareness and promote safer work practices. Ensuring that everyone understands how to handle tasks correctly can prevent injuries and improve overall workplace safety. Next, we'll review important questions from this element that you need to know for NEBOSH IGC Paper 1. Define the term ergonomics. You should note that there are many acceptable definitions. Any of the following would be deemed appropriate. The study of the interaction between workers and the work environment. Making the job or task fit the person. The study of how people interact with machinery or equipment within the workplace. Ergonomics is the application of scientific information concerning humans to the design of objects, systems and environment for human use. Fitting the job to the people who have to do it through the design of equipment and procedures. Fitting the person to the job through the use of placement procedures or training. The study of how the workplace relates to human functions. List 6 observations of a machine operator's station which could suggest that the machine has not been ergonomically designed. The need for excessive force or repetitive movements. The need for the operator to constantly stretch. The need for the operator to regularly stoop. Machine controls located in awkward positions. Machine controls unmarked or poorly marked. The functions of machine controls are not obvious. Lack of visibility by the operator of the process or its controls. Size or weight of work item making it difficult to position or because of type of machine protection. Difficulty in changing, adjusting or cleaning the machine tools. Identify the features of a suitable seat for use at a DSE workstation. Here the features are fairly straightforward, being: the seat must be adjustable to suit the operator, height and tilt. Seat should be stable and comfortable. Should have at least 5 legs. With a backrest and footrest. The backrest shall be able to tilt and adjust. A lumbar support could be beneficial. Arms, if fitted, must not prohibit the user getting close to the desk. Identify the typical signs and symptoms of work-related upper limb disorders, WRULDs, that might be experienced by affected individuals. Typical symptoms such as pain to the back, neck, shoulders and/or arms, swollen joints, reduced mobility and stiffness, cramps and muscle fatigue and loss of strength in the hands and grip. Such conditions will typically affect sleep and normal functioning. Workstation layout. The failure to provide sufficient breaks. Space constraints resulting in poor working postures. Excessive force. Awkward hand movements needed to carry out an operation. Poorly designed tools and equipment. The frequency with which tasks needed to be repeated. The use of vibrating tools and equipment. The involvement of vulnerable workers such as those with pre-existing medical conditions and pregnant women. Environmental factors such as working in areas where the temperature is low and a lack of training in the precautionary measures that should be taken to reduce the possibility of suffering from WRULDs. Outline which factors should be considered in an ergonomic assessment of a DSE workstation. Equipment in use, screen, keyboard, mouse, document holder, footrest, etc. Environment in terms of lighting, heating, noise, etc. Task being undertaken, basic office use, data entry, information requiring a high degree of concentration, etc. The individual themselves and their interrelationships between the following 4 points. 1. Repetition of the work, highly repetitive, rapid hand and finger movements, etc. 2. The actual working posture of the individual eye, fingers, hands and wrists. 3. Working posture of shoulders and arms, are they appropriate? 4. Psychosocial factors such as the pace of work, unplanned overtime shift work, little control over own work, stressful deadlines, lack of training. List 4 specific types of injury that could be caused by the incorrect manual handling of loads. A list of potential injuries could include spinal disc compression or prolapsed disc, strains to tendons or muscles, hernia, dislocation or fracture of bones, cuts and abrasions and crushing or impact injuries. Outline the possible risks to health associated with the use of display screen equipment (DSE) and control measures. Manual handling, hazard, lifting and moving heavy objects. Control measures, use mechanical aids, train in lifting techniques, take regular breaks. Corrosive cement. Hazard, contact with cement causing irritation. Control measures, wear PPE, gloves, overalls, use RPE, respiratory protection. Moving parts and ejection. Hazard, injury from moving parts or ejected materials. Control measures, install and maintain guards. Noise. Hazard, hearing damage from loud noise. Control measures, use hearing protection, rotate tasks to limit exposure. Fuel, internal combustion engine. Hazard, co-emissions, fire risk. Control measures, use in well-ventilated areas, store fuel safely, implement no smoking policies. Electric power supply. Hazard, electrical shock. Control measures, maintain equipment, use RCDs, residual current devices. Outline the factors that may arise from manual handling activities in relation to load, individual, task load. Physical size, weight, rigidity, stability, sharp edges, temperature, hot, cold, state, dry, wet, slippery individual, physical abilities, medical conditions, ISIT, risk assessment, provision of PPE, task, lifting, lowering, putting down, pushing, pulling, distance to travel, carry. Is twisting the body essential? Outline good lifting technique that could be adopted by a worker when lifting a load. A good lifting technique that could be adopted by a worker when lifting a load being: assessing the weight and size of the load, the distance it is to be carried, adopting the technique of placing the feet close to the load and slightly apart to ensure a good balance, bending at the knees, keeping the back in natural alignment, the head up and the chin in, securing a firm grip on the load, keeping it close to the body while lifting it smoothly using the leg muscles, refraining from twisting the trunk when turning to the side. Ways of avoiding manual handling could include considerations of using lifting equipment such as hoists, cranes or pulley blocks, transportation equipment such as conveyors, air pallets or chutes, and mechanical means such as forklift trucks, trolleys or barrows. Outline the 4 main factors that should be considered when carrying out a manual handling risk assessment. Task to be undertaken: lift, carry, push, pull. Individual undertaking the task: not all individuals have the same abilities or capabilities. Load that has to be handled: its physical size, weight, stability, etc. Environment in which the load has to be handled: need to consider things like route, potholes, steps, ramps, lighting, resting places if distance excessive, etc. List 4 types of injury to which the storeman may be at risk while carrying out this operation. Head injuries from sharp items or from swarf. Arm injury from striking against rack shelving. Back injuries due to bending and or twisting and or stretching. Head injuries, striking against low or close shelf. Foot-leg injuries due to dropping the items. Back injury if load is heavy. Personal injuries, falling over stacked items at ground or near ground level. Hand injuries if contact was made with the shelves during positioning of the boxes onto them. An organization has had an increase in the number of manual handling accidents and associated ill health. Identify sources of information that may be available to help reduce the risks to the workers. Sources of information that may be available to an organization in their quest to reduce the number of manual handling accidents to members of their workforce include international agencies such as the ILO, national enforcement agencies such as the Health and Safety Executive in the United Kingdom, employers' organizations, and trade unions. National and international standards making bodies such as ISO. Information from manufacturers and also from other organizations carrying out work of a similar nature. Professional health and safety bodies such as IOSH and ROSPA in the United Kingdom. Occupational health services. Risk assessments. Outline good lifting technique that could be adopted by a person when lifting a load from the ground. Ensure appropriate clothing is worn to avoid entanglement or inhibition of movement. Back straight. Grip the test the weight to ensure within your capability. Keep feet slightly apart. Bend knees. Lower the body to the load. Keep the load firmly and close to the body. Smoothly lift the load first to knee level, then to waist level. Avoid any jerking movement. Make sure you can see where you are going. Without twisting the body, turn by feet movement. Move the load to the required destination, at all times keeping the load as close as possible to your body. Set the load down at the desired location, first from the waist level, then to knee level and then to the floor. In a factory, a conveyor system is used to transfer manufactured articles to the warehouse area. Identify the control measures to be taken to reduce the risk of injury to workers from the conveyor. Here you need to refer to control measures such as the provision of guarding for transmission machinery and the intakes of belts and drums, the erection of barriers to keep workers away from the conveyor, the provision of emergency stop buttons for the system conveniently situated and easily accessible, ensuring operators are trained in the use of the conveyor system and the hazards associated with its use, such as the danger that could arise from overloading the conveyor, wearing loose items of clothing, or allowing long hair to hang loose, using a signal to warn workers that the conveyors about to be put into operation, ensuring maintenance and servicing work is carried out only by authorized personnel and that the power supply to the conveyor is disconnected or locked off before the start of the work, and encouraging workers to report unsafe practices to the supervisor. List the hazards associated specifically with battery-powered lift trucks. Quiet operation, speed, stability, instability, battery changing, battery charging, fire, explosion, chemical spills, electrocution, weight, counterbalanced, lack of a suspension system. Outline 8 rules to follow when a forklift truck is left unattended during a driver's work break. Rules to follow when a forklift truck is left unattended during a driver's work break include: parking the truck away from other vehicles, parking in a position that does not obstruct emergency exits, walkways and fire points, leaving it on a firm level surface, leaving it in a designated area, leave with the mast tilted slightly forward, leave with the forks resting on the floor, switching the power off, leave with the front wheels turned in towards the curb, applying the brake, removing the key and returning it to a responsible person to prevent unauthorized use. Identify 8 ways in which a forklift truck may become unstable during operation. Typical to mention are: insecure, excessive or uneven loading, a failure to position the load correctly on the forks, incorrect elevation of the forks when traveling, uneven or unconsolidated ground, crossing or turning on slopes or ramps at an angle, obstructions both overhead and at low level or changes in level, for example, edges of loading bays, cornering at excessive speeds, making contact with potholes, sudden braking, poor condition of tires, mechanical failure and collision with other vehicles. Identify the hazards associated with forklift trucks. The hazards related to forklift trucks are wide-ranging. Electric lift trucks are silent in operation and have a range of issues associated with battery charging, etc. Lift trucks can be relatively unstable due to the center of gravity dynamics when transporting loads, especially up and down inclines or even across an incline. They are prone to tipping when they make contact with small potholes or uneven surfaces, and also when they attempt to turn at very tight angles. Moving with the forks raised to high also present hazards to pedestrians should they be in the same vicinity. Overloading exceeding the rated capacity of a lift truck can also lead to mechanical failure of lifting parts with dramatic and injurious consequences. Poor visibility is often experienced when lift trucks are operated in a way when the transported load obstructs the operator's vision. Sliding loads can be problematic in transit, due mainly to the lack of friction between the layers of goods being carried. Normally there is minimum age requirements for operators in line with local road traffic regulations. Competency of operators is often called into question as normal vehicle drivers feel that they can operate such lift trucks in a safe manner. This is not the case and specialized training is normally required. Thanks for watching. For important questions and answers, and to learn about the remaining elements of NEBOSH IGC
This is all about today's topic. Thanks for watching Phani EHS Info. And don't forget to subscribe our channel to get immediate notification of our videos. Share our videos to your friends and colleagues to create safety awareness. If you have any questions and requirements, please comment in comment box.